Softball presented by Regions Bank. We're here in Columbia, South Carolina to start off a three-game series between Florida and South Carolina. It's kind of the norm now, right? 11 ranked teams in the SEC. That means we're going to have ranked versus ranked matchups all over the place. And here's one starting tonight. Florida coming in looking for its 5th SEC Series win of the season. Courtney Lau alongside two-time National Player of the Year, Olympic bronze medalist Danielle Laurie. And the SEC is such a grind, if you will, and it continues this weekend. It's going to be some crazy matchups.
Yeah, I mean, this one tonight, but I think about Texas, Oklahoma squaring off. I also think about Arkansas, Mississippi State. You're getting some tough matchups starting out tonight.
Well, let's start with this Florida Gators team, top 10 in the nation. Their offense, not just one of the best in the SEC, one of the best nationally.
Yeah, and I think when I look at the top three and just how dangerous, like they really are, they make it so hard for opposing pitchers, and just their ability to change the dynamic of a game, and just that fear factor that you feel. Shoemaker, in the leadoff spot, as well as Jossie Erickson batting 2, and then Kenleigh Cahalan, and just her progression as a hitter has been so fun to watch from last year to this year, but they are tough.
Now, you see the first 6 SEC games, the stats, compared to the last 9, those numbers have dropped a little bit.
Yeah, the SEC, and you look at them playing Tennessee and Mississippi State, they've faced some tough pitchers, so you'd likely see some dips based on who they're facing.
Well, speaking of who they're facing, it's kind of the player that South Carolina makes decisions around in the circle. It's Jory Hurd.
Yeah, Jory Hurd has just been electric. Listen, she is just kind of the heartbeat of this team. She's been the calm to the storm, and someone that you look to that has been the most consistent presence that they need through the ups and downs. You can always rely on her when she's come in, through the up to the change to that leadership. She's explosive, and she's so fun to watch, and I love that she's getting the ball tonight to kick off this series.
Yeah, her mentality has been so great this year, senior year. She wants to come out, give it her all, and a true pitching staff, by the way, for South Carolina, but she's a very important piece of it.
And she's someone that you're seeing definitely make an appearance in what seems like almost every game of an SEC series as well.
So now you take a look at the Florida Gators lineup. Every bat in this lineup hits over 300, but Jocelyn Erickson hits 430. She's 9th in the nation in home runs, 5th in RBI. She bats 2nd. Taylor Shoemaker will lead off for the Gators. Where do you even start attacking a lineup like Florida brings to the table?
Well, I think you start up by figuring out what you're going to be able to get with that strike zone at times. That first inning, so important to establish that piece. And once you go from there, you can kind of work your bread and butter. I will say with the amount of left-handed hitters in Florida's lineup, this does tend to favor Jory Hurd a little bit. 193 average against lefties and 221 against those righties.
Yeah, 6 of their 9 hitters bat from the left side, including the first 4 in the lineup. And it starts at the top with Taylor Shoemaker leading them, hitting .475, last year's National Freshman of the Year. Two on the way to Shoemaker. How big of a start is that for Jory Hurd?
Especially, I mean, she falls behind 2-0 and then works herself back in and just paints a really pretty pitch, on the outside part of the plate. So good. Bayou mentality by Jory Hurd. Starting off strong.
And then you get to Jocelyn Erickson.
Yeah.
Hello.
Here we are.
A .430 hitter on the season. Now, she has only had 1 hit in their last 4 games. But 49% of her hits this season have gone for extra bases. If you were watching the SEC studio with Alyssa Lang and Tori Vidalis, you heard Ashley Chastain Woodard tell them that pitching is going to be so key for South Carolina in this 3-game series.
Knowing the pop, too, of Florida, that's an important...
Erickson takes this one towards left field where Culilio is underneath it, and it's 2 away.
It's an important piece to be able to set the tone with the pitching. And listen, I've had a lot of South Carolina games. Pitching has not been the issue for them. They've been really rock solid in the circle and steady, and have thrown some great innings. It's just been sometimes the grind of the SEC and being able to manufacture some of those runs and try to get something going. I think that's kind of been the one thing that has kept South Carolina back a little bit, has just been that clutch hitting piece.
Kinley Cahalan, the shortstop, now stepping up to the plate. She's had a hit in 7 of their last 8 games. Trying to do some work with 2 down. Ooh, did not feel good.
And those, to me, are just such great pitches, right? Like, now you've just instilled this sense of like, dang it, I hope she doesn't come back in on me, right? Like throwing that curveball, busting a good corner, like that's what it's all about as a pitcher, especially first inning, establishing that strike zone and trying to let a hitter know, like, this is my plate. You're going to get on that plate. Like, I'm going to let you know I'm still going to be able to come in high and tight.
Cahalan all the way in the back of the box. Oh, caught up in the air by Lexi Winters. They call her the anchor of the defense for a reason.
Lexi Winters, she's so good. Rock solid behind the dish for little plays like this.
SEC Softball is presented by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC.
Well, South Carolina gets out of that one pretty efficiently, just 11 pitches. And now Keegan Rothrock and the Florida Gators will take to the field. And, man, they've relied a lot on Keegan Rothrock, who's just continued to mature.
Yeah, she's just been huge for them, especially with Ava Brown, who has been hurt. I think she's definitely had to take on, at times, a little bit bigger of a workload in the best way. You know, nobody wants a ball more than her.
And here's the South Carolina lineup. It's kind of been the question mark a bit, is can they get this offense going? Tori Inslee has had success recently. She had 3 hits in the Tennessee series last week, and we'll see her in that 5 spot. But it's Quincy Lilio, the left fielder, to lead off against Keegan Rothrock. In talking to Ashley Chastain Woodard this week, her hitters were pretty fired up about facing this staff for Florida.
They've been used to primarily down the last couple weeks. If you look at the Mississippi State series with just Gould and that drop ball and how tough that pitch is, and then the carryover to play in Tennessee and how much they tend to favor that ball down in the zone. She was almost excited when she was saying that we're facing somebody else that tends to be a little bit more up. Like, you could almost see this sense of relief on the hitters a little bit, like, oh, finally, we get to see something a little more in our wheelhouse. There's nothing like trying to hit 70 down in the zone off someone like Carlin Pickens.
And Rothrock not able to find that zone. It'll be a 4-pitch walk to Lilio to start this game. The top two in the order for South Carolina both hit over 300. This will bring us to Carly Shelton, who's one of those. She's had a hit in 3 of their last 4 games, and now she's got a runner on. Strike number 2 coming in from Keegan Rothrock.
We've seen Keegan tend to go a little bit more at times to her changeup this year. I mean, 7% she threw that last year, at 20% this 2026 season. I just think when you have that pitch in your back pocket, it just makes it a little bit tougher for a hitter to be able to get on time with your velocity. And we know she throws tough. I mean, that last pitch coming in at 71 miles an hour, but just being able to throw that change kind of allows for a hitter to never feel settled when they step in the box, because you can change speeds.
A nice response from Rothrock. Walked the first batter, but struck out the second, and now brings her to Ariana Roney, who's the first baseman. She's had a hit in 3 of their last 4 games for the Gamecocks. Lelio still at first. Going inside for the ball.
And one thing I feel like, since maybe this was last year or the year prior with the replay review with runners leaving early, you tend to not see as many stolen bases as we've seen in the past. I mean, I know you have someone rock solid in Erickson and Winters behind the dish, but
pull towards short. Cahalan makes the play. They're looking for a couple, and bang, bang, Florida's defense does it. 15th double play this season for the Florida Gators.
God, this is a thing of beauty. Are you kidding me? Kenleigh Cahalan over to Comia to Walker. See you later.
Florida's offense is pretty good, but don't just believe us. Here's some rankings to back that up. These are national rankings for offensive categories for the Florida Gators, and Tim Walton has called them disciplinedly aggressive at the plate.
And when I think of a Florida team, I do think of them having such a good understanding of what the strike zone is and not attacking pitches that they can't really do some damage with. But when you look at the D1 ranks, I mean, impressive. This offense is electric. And I think, too, when you have a freshman in Townsend Thomas in the 4 spot, I mean, that just goes to show kind of just the recruits that they bring in and how quick they're able to kind of learn the Walton philosophy well. She's been someone I've followed as the season has gone on.
I spent some time, a lot of time in center, but move over to left field as of late. And she's attacking Jory Hurd early. Hurd was great to start this game. 11 pitches, 7 for strikes, and got a strikeout of Taylor Shoemaker as the leadoff in the first inning.
And I almost feel like she's kind of held her changeup back. We haven't seen it. We didn't see it in the first inning yet because she's, besides the first hitter, has been able to get ahead of hitters. But I think to me, it's probably at times her understanding of the inside part of the zone to those left-handed hitters. She's someone that just has no fear with being able to go in hot underneath a hitter's hands, and I can appreciate it.
Up the middle goes Thomas, rolls it out to center field, and it gets past Tori Inslee. So that's going to be a couple of bags there for Townsend Thomas. She's in a scoring position.
This is a good job by Townsend Thomas to be ready for a 1-2 pitch. It's just left too much over the plate, and definitely a defensive miscue by Inslee in center. It's going to be chalked up as her first error of the season for sure on that, but opportunity here for the Florida Gators.
Kendall Grover, the third baseman, fouls off the first pitch, and something that South Carolina knew they couldn't do in this game was give away bases to Florida.
Yeah, well, when it comes down to the defense things, right? It's being able to shore up the little things that we have the ability to control, and at times that can hurt any team when you just make those little mistakes. Because with both of these aces, like, I feel like it runs maybe tough to scrap up against them based on what you're seeing. They're pumping strikes early and they're grooving here, so runs may be hard to get.
This big swing from Kendall Grover for strike 2, the transfer from Eastern Illinois. Here's the first ever back-to-back OVC Player of the Year. Was a third baseman there, and now has won that job at Florida.
And there's that changeup. And I know there's just so much information on hitters. Looking through the pitcher's lens, I always like to look at what kind of the biggest chase pitch is, something that they tend to, you know, go after in that rise ball, which is a bread and butter pitch of Hurd in the circle, but 31% of the time she will chase that pitch up. And at times, don't get me wrong, I think there's way too much data available, right? It just depends how much you like the usage of that and how it can better your game or how it can maybe get in your head. Glad they didn't have it on me back in the day. Cool that we get to use it to our advantage for the broadcast.
Ball and 2 strikes to Grover. Soft hit just to the edge of the grass. It's going to be runners on the corners for the Gators. Back-to-back hits, plus that error has got 2 on.
Gosh, and this is just a jam job that finds some green. Obviously, Inslee is back, respecting Grover and her power, and finds a way to drop something in. Some action here for Florida.
And now Ava Brown, who's in the DP. This is her 5th game back from injury.
Love seeing her back.
That one's dropped by Hurd, and the runner, Kendall Grover, was already moving over. So it's 2 in scoring position. Ava Brown was injured on February 26th against Cal and amazingly returned April 3rd against Mississippi State. And Tim Walton has called her the heart and soul of this team.
Yeah, one of those goosebump moments for sure when she was able to get back in that ball game. Crowd was on their toes. It is, and at times this game can take you out, and she still continued to find ways to have quality at bats by standing in on pitchers and getting her timing. And it's almost like she didn't skip a beat when she got back in. I mean, had a couple hits.
Huge for Jory Hurd, her second strikeout with the pressure on as Florida's got 2 in scoring position.
And I like it. Remember this spot, and if you're able to continue to pepper the lower half of the zone and get that first strike, that's huge. And those are just little nuggets you throw up in your mental piggy bank as a pitcher to know, like, I can go back to that spot. It's solid at a 1-2 count. Big strikeout.
There's Cassidy McClellan and playing in right field today. Can she bring these 2 Gators home? She's got 28 RBI on the year. Didn't have a hit last weekend, though, in their Mississippi State series. Found a hole. McClellan pokes it through, 1 Gator across, and Florida takes the lead on the road.
What a great job by McClellan to just be able to hit the gap through the left side, the 5-6 hole. You had the infield in. You saw Anderson was pulled in, and great piece of hitting. Just manufacturing at, like, runs. I think that's what's so important, especially in the SEC. It's like when you find ways to get on base, it's like, how can we continue to, like, get things going and make a defense continue to feel like they're on their toes? And you know, I hate to say it, but it comes down to, like, those defensive things, right? Like, right out of the gate, just that little miscue puts Thomas at second base and then carrying a little bit of that momentum over.
Now you see Neely Lamb working in the pen right now. There's Katie Browder out to the circle along with Zach Parsons. Zach Parsons, the pitching coach for South Carolina.
And the one thing, too, about Jory Hurd, I mean, she has been steady, and at times, you know, coaches mentioned that she's just been unfazed, and there has been a lot of pressure on this young lady, right? Being that ace, and she's been here for all 4 years, and finally the opportunity for her to be kind of the one has presented itself through all the good and at times tough of the SEC. I think, to me, she's really just kind of stayed consistent.
McClellan sliding into second with Madison Walker at the plate.
That's back-to-back that we've seen some hitters with Grover who did the exact same thing. Ball goes back to Jory Hurd, and they almost do that delayed steal. And at times, it's the way that Jory Hurd will turn. She turns her back to the runner. So she gets the ball back from Lexi Winters, and she turns toward third base, so she's not seeing that runner. And those are just little things coaches at times will pick up leading up to a series, but what I will say is pitchers at times we're creatures of habit. Like, what is our routine? What are the things that we like to do when we get the ball back? And kind of that's back-to-back times where the Gators have taken advantage of that.
Already 2 stolen bases in this game for Florida. That brings them to 33 on the season. That one up high to Madison Walker. 33 of 35 on the base paths for Florida. By the way, Gators 29-2 in scoring first. As the RBI single from Cassidy McClellan got the Gators on the board here. And Madison Walker, the potential to do damage.
And I think once she's able to get her changeup, we've seen her throw it. I've seen her throw it probably 3 or 4 times in this game. It's just been left maybe a little bit up. When Jory Hurd's changeup is money, it is when it's just undetectable. You cannot tell whatsoever. It just has such good tight spin down in the zone.
Man, Madison Walker wants to unload on this ball.
She does. Yeah, she's been, it was a big pickup for the Gators out of the portal, transfer from Missouri.
Her batting average about 100 points higher than her time at Missouri. Inside, rung her up. That's strikeout number 3 for Jory Hurd.
It's a great spot. Absolute battle by Walker, just painting corners on the inside part of the plate. You saw the body. I like the take by Walker. I think 1-2 count. Obviously, it's close.
Bottom of the order, Gabby Comia slapping at it. And the toss over to first. Florida will leave 2 on, but not before Cassidy McClellan sends the first run across with an RBI single. Gators lead by 1. Bottom of the second inning, Florida's able to bring the first run across in the top of this inning, and now the Gamecocks bringing those bats back. And Ashley Chastain Woodard in her second season leading her alma mater. This week, actually, they had the chance to go out and practice. Didn't have a midweek game, so we were talking to her about the schedule. You know, Wednesday they started that film on Florida Arms. Pretty intense practice, actually, the day before that on Tuesday, but some time to work on themselves.
Yeah, I think too, when you're able to go back home and not have the midweek game and really focus on, obviously Monday they like to recover, but finding ways to like get better as a team. Sometimes you don't get a whole lot of that throughout the grind of a season, with a lot of just adding of the midweek games to try to continue to keep kind of adding to the strength of schedule and all the things. So I know that this was a team that was excited to get back out on the dirt and try to get after it. I know they really hammered out the pitching machines with that up spin, everything replicating that Rothrock rise ball.
Now, Keegan Rothrock was efficient with her defense in the first inning. Just 10 pitches, 5 for strikes, and they got out of the inning, turning their 15th double play of the season.
Yeah, and the goal, too, it's like not getting too over-anxious in the box, knowing you're going to face someone that tends to be obviously a whole lot more up than what you've seen over the course of the last couple weeks.
She's facing Jamie McKay right now, the right fielder.
And you think about, too, with South Carolina, I mean, coming off of playing Tennessee and that pitching staff the week prior, they had the mic'd up Monday against Mississippi State, like tough pitching staffs.
I think that's just the SEC.
It is, but like, I can't say enough about watching Mississippi State pitchers in person with Gould and watching Faircloth. Like, those mid-major transfers have to be the biggest transfers in the circle in the SEC with how well they've been able to perform.
Well, second inning that Rothrock is going to walk the leadoff.
And then it just rolls right into the Gators pitching staff and having to face, you know, Keegan Rothrock in the circle, and just how tough she has been. She's just a dog for them in the circle. When you think about the Gators, I think about just Rothrock and how much she, kind of like an Energizer bunny, she can just keep going and going for them.
She's facing South Carolina, one of their hottest hitters, in Tori Ensley, who had 3 hits last weekend in the Tennessee series. Hits .347. She's got Jamie McKay at first. Goes with the bunt. Kendall Grover working on it, and they'll go to second to get McKay. Ensley reaching on the fielder's choice.
This is so good. Great job by Grover to have the wherewithal in the moment to know it's a hot shot. She know her teammate's going to be there. Gets that lead out. This is what it's all about. Elite defense at times is a separator, right? They say defense wins championships. Well, it really does. You need elite pitching, but you need to make sure you can make the big-time plays, and that's what you've seen by Florida and Grover there. Like, just the IQ in a moment like that, too, is key.
Furry, lovable Oak Grover. If you've watched Sesame Street lately, you know that reference.
I haven't watched it lately.
Well, I've got a
But-
toddler at home.
It's been a little bit since but I remember watching Sesame Street when I was a kid, if that
Oh,
makes me feel a lot older than you. Does.
Sunny days right here in Columbia. Lexi Winters, the catcher, up with Tori Inslee at first. And Lexi Winters, one of those players that came with Ashley Chastain Woodard last season when she got the job, came from Charlotte. And I think Lexi Winters broke down in tears of joy when she got the call from Ashley Chastain Woodard asking her to come with. And hops over to Madison Walker, and she'll make the tag to retire Winters. That does bump Inslee into scoring position.
I think, too, when you know that you connect well with a coach and they make you better, it's at times you don't see a whole lot of athletes that get the 4-year experience at one school now with the transfer portal, and at times, there's a lot of moving pieces to that. But to find someone, the reason as to why you wanted to play at that university, and that is...
Tate Davis ready to rock. Now, this is a player who was pulled from the lineup last weekend. Coach Woodard told us she just needed a break, needed to take a step back. She's just a sophomore carrying a bigger load than she's ever carried. It's been her first season at Ole Miss. And man, did she attack practice this week and come back with an awesome attitude.
And the day-to-day grind of the SEC being that key component on the left side, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. There is. This game is tough, and then you get into conference play, and at times, hate to say it, but it can eat you alive a little bit. You have to have that mentality, that short-term memory, and sometimes it's a game away to just kind of clear it.
Well, that was close. Komia trying to get back there, couldn't grab the ball as Inslee was diving back in. Inslee is the tying run at second right now with Tate Davis at the plate.
And I will say, we've seen him call that, but it's been a little bit down. Umpire behind the plate tends to, Robert Guest, have a little bit of a lower strike zone.
Keegan Rothrock, though, gets the swing, and that's her second strikeout. South Carolina's going to leave the tying run at second.
Want to mess around with this OU.
Stanford firmly in control.
Huge weekend for Florida State.
It is gone!
She slams it into the ground.
I mean, choose your own adventure, right? Look at all the great matchups that we've got this weekend on our ESPN family of networks. Softball season is in the heart of the season. We're getting closer and closer to mayhem. We've got a top 25 battle here in Columbia, South Carolina. Courtney Lyle and Danielle Laurie with you. And Florida up 1-0 on the Gamecocks. They took the lead in the last inning on an RBI single from Cassidy McClellan. It's back to the top of the order with Taylor Shoemaker, who struck out her first time against Jory Hurd. But man, it just feels like there's constantly ranked team versus ranked team.
Yeah, I mean, it's conference play really can slap you in the face if you let it. It's hard. It is a grind for some of these teams with these schedules. I mean, I look at South Carolina the last couple weekends and how tough that's been, from going from Mississippi State to then playing at Tennessee. And I mean, you just have to be able to stay level-headed through the gauntlet that you're going to face.
And Jory Hurd strikes out Shoemaker for the second time tonight. Well, one of those big matchups is coming up at the top of the hour. So at 7 p.m. Eastern over on ESPN2. It's Oklahoma, it's Texas, it's offense.
Oh, and I'm excited for this one, honestly. I will say this. I feel like Tegan Kavon last year playing at OU, that was kind of when she really struggled till when they got to postseason. Like, I vividly remember her being night and day different playing at Oklahoma. So the beauty of this is they get to play in Austin. She gets to play at home, and it's sometimes these feel like make or break, right? Like a couple weeks before mayhem begins. I don't want that sour taste in my mouth. We know these two teams obviously don't like each other, which makes it even spicier.
I mean, Oklahoma's offense, I feel like we just say this all the time, right? I mean, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
They need 18 more home runs to break their own single-season NCAA record from 2021, and we have a lot of softball left.
And just so many double-digit home runs, right? So it's like there's this power threat from obviously the top, and you have Kendall Wells, the freshman who's been able to come in and make such an impact.
Jocelyn Erickson at the plate, who actually was a national champion with Oklahoma back in 2023 and now playing for Florida, and she'll take the walk. Shortstop Kenley Cahalan, the Alabama transfer. First pitch, hops over to Ariana Rhodey. South Carolina looking for two. Will get one as Cahalan beats it out.
And a good job defensively here by Rhodey, the Gold Glover over at first base. Something Coach really talks about, just her understanding of separating the offense from the defense. She is rock steady over there at first base. The right side, so important with Carly Shelton and her leadership, as well as Rhodey. Knowing the left side tends to be a little bit younger with Anderson at short and then Tate Davis over there at third base. Coach really knew that right side was going to be important to kind of lead and be the difference makers in the infield.
Townsend Thomas, the redshirt freshman, got on in the second inning, had a single, and then an error allowed her to get into scoring position. She would come all the way around thanks to the bat of Cassidy McClellan. Foul ball.
And a nice job by Jory Hurd. That previous pitch was down and in with the swing and the miss, and just kind of like understanding that, like, I don't need to go way out. I'm able to go back to my power zone and go in. Like, she loves to be able to go in on those lefties, get ahead in the counts.
Hopped into Carly Shelton's glove. When we come back, we'll talk to Tim Walton, Florida's head coach. They're up by a run here on the road. Before you know it, the Women's College World Series starts May 28th from Oklahoma City. Where else? That is the home of college softball. And this Florida program has made 13 appearances in the Women's College World Series. We're joined by Florida head coach Tim Walton. And, Coach, I wanted to ask you about Keegan Rothrock. What is it, something that we don't see with just her stuff, that makes her so elite in her preparation?
Well, I think, stuff and preparation sometimes are two different things. I think she's learned how to combine both. Good stuff, trusting her stuff, and then preparing. Not only preparing for her, but also preparing for the hitters. There's a lot to it, more than just pure stuff. And I think she's done a really good job in investing time into what's going to make her, better this year.
Coach, going through against the senior Jory Hurd, the bottom half, second time through the lineup, and then rolling it back around, kind of some adjustments you want to see your team make off of her here?
Well, it's one adjustment I can't make or say on TV, but I just want to do a better job getting the ball over the plate that we can drive. I think that's the key, is being able to, we're down in the count a lot. We had some good hits, obviously, but still down in the count. Got to do a better job getting the ball over the plate, belt high.
We'll be thinking about what that adjustment is, Coach.
Thank you.
That you can't say on TV.
Yeah, I mean, easier said than done. It is.
Yeah.
Hitting is hard, and I think sometimes we need to remember that, because as pitchers it can feel really tough, right? Like there's so much out there for the hitters, but great pitchers can still find ways to get elite hitters out. It comes down to being able to hit really good quality spots, and it can be hard for both. We'll say that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Shea Anderson leads off this inning for South Carolina. They left the tying run in scoring position in the second. Keegan Rothrock, though, just 10 pitches in the first inning, 11 pitches in that second inning.
Yeah, she's been really efficient, and I think for South Carolina, wanting the ball primarily up in the zone, that's great, but being able to kind of hammer some pitches that are in and around the zone, and you're seeing Keegan Rothrock towards the bottom half and probably going to roll over to the top, sprinkling in a little bit more of those changeups. That last pitch coming in at 61. Like I said, that's a pitch she's added a little bit more to her arsenal this year. 2025 season, I mean, she threw that at a 7% clip, and as this 2026 season has gone on, she's thrown it at 20% of the time, so adding it a lot more, I think, is important. And for little eyes that are watching, young kids, I mean, 70 miles an hour isn't enough to beat hitters anymore. You see it with Carlin Pickens, right? She throws 75, like 79 is the record. But if you can't change speeds, great hitting finds ways to be able to beat you.
Well, now it's a full count to Shea Anderson. And strikeout number 3 by Keegan Rothrock.
Just needs to pull the trigger on this. This is just, I don't know if maybe Shea Anderson was thinking that she was going to go something a little bit more off speed, but too close to take.
Now in the 9th spot, the DP, Alyssa Hovermail, who is facing her old team. Spent the last 2 seasons at Florida. Unfortunately, last year she was injured after just 2 games and had to miss the rest of the season. But was with this group for their last 2 Women's College World Series appearances. And Tim Walton has talked to it for Keegan Rothrock just about how she's taken more ownership. She'll shake a bit more. Her prep is a bit deeper. She's on attacking batter. She's got a bigger voice in the game plan. Owning it more.
Yeah, and I just think that is such an important piece. I wish athletes learn younger, right? There's a sense of vulnerability, being able to own it, like, that just wasn't what I needed it to be. I'm sorry, that's my bad. Goes a long way. And I think there's just this art form to pitching, really learning all the things. Like, what is a quality pitch? Why am I throwing this? Like, if there's something that's called, like, and I don't want to throw it, why is that? And I have to follow that, like, kind of gut feeling of not wanting to throw something just because it's called. I have to really commit to throwing it. But at times, there's nothing worse than going back and watching game film where you are just not elite. Like, it is humbling as ever to just go out and watch yourself. And I think those moments of vulnerability too, it's just like, man, yeah, I needed to be better. And you see yourself through some hard times. It helps you learn and grow in the circle.
Got her to swing on the off speed, tries to run it out, but can. And Keegan Rothrock has struck out the last 3 she's faced.
And it's that changeup yet again. And I actually heard Alicia Ocasio talking about this on the broadcast last week about how Coach Tim Walton has kind of compared Keegan Rothrock's changeup this year to Ocasio's. Like, when you think of a Florida Gator elite pitcher, Alicia Ocasio comes to mind. She plays in the AUSL, but someone that really can change speeds with the best of them. And her changeup was one of her go-to pitches.
And you see her career numbers. I feel like she's always played such a big role with Florida. I remember last year she missed about a month of the season with an injury and then was able to fight her way back and help them to the Women's College World Series.
Yeah, and I don't even feel like she really was even at her best when she came back from that injury. She was so good to be able to help get them there, but I would have loved to see a healthy Keegan Rothrock in Oklahoma City. I think there would have been a little bit of a difference. Like, there was a game there in OKC where she didn't even start, and I'm like, what? What's going on here? I'm on the studio set, like, how is Rothrock not in the circle? Well, she was just battling stuff, and at times, if you're not healthy in the circle, you feel it as a team.
Florida went to the Women's College World Series for the 13th time, but went 0-2. Lost their 2 games there. A 3 balls and a strike to Quincy Lilio. It's the top of the order for South Carolina for the 2nd time. And now a full count. Lilio walked the first time up. That is 4 strikeouts in a row for Keegan Rothrock. Florida will try to add to its lead. The Florida Gators 29-2 when scoring first, and they were able to get the first run across in the second inning. Now, something that you've noticed, watch Jory Hurd in the circle, Danielle.
Well, the one thing you have to think about is when a pitcher gets the ball back, right, and they're not facing the runner, she faces third base. So her whole back is completely, so you have to trust your defense that they're screaming enough. But we've seen that happen back-to-back times here on Jory Hurd. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the adjustment. And I also like playing with the pitcher, forcing her to have to throw it overhand too in a situation like that is putting a little bit more pressure on her. So a good job by Florida trying to kind of, I think, exploit that part and recognizing every pitch she tends to turn that way and favor that side.
And Florida's gotten 2 stolen bases that way. Here's Kendall Grover, the third baseman.
But it's so hard because, you know, as a pitcher, I sit up here going, my routine's my routine. Like, that's what makes me feel so set when I'm out there. Maybe you can do a quick shuffle, quick turn if there's a runner on first. But it's like, as pitchers, we feel at our best when we do the same thing every pitch. Like, we have our pre-pitch routine. We turn the same way. We connect with our specific people at times.
Striking out the first batter of this inning, though, Jory Hurd.
And so good. Just painting corners, 67 on the outside part of the plate. This really pretty pitch just by you. And at times, just with her throwing that changeup, I mean, she throws that at a 25% clip. It's in the back of your head at times as a hitter. Like, is she going to go with that? Is she not?
Ava Brown fouls off the first pitch.
Can't say enough about having Ava Brown back in this lineup. Obviously, like, her leadership, I know you mentioned it, one of the heartbeats of this team. She's key. But just how she didn't skip a beat. Like Coach Walton had mentioned it on the call. Like, even when she was down, she was in bullpens. She was taking those kind of reps and watching pitches and getting her timing. Yeah, not being able to pull the trigger on it, but still being present, watching pitches with her eyes. And how that's carried over into this. Listen, you have 2 choices when you get injured. I can either sit here and say, poor me, or I can find ways to be a great teammate and help lead a team and still stay present and find ways for when I get back in, like, it's a smoother transition. And I think that, to me, is such a huge part and why it's so exciting to have her back.
I just attacked her rehab. The prognosis of her injury was a lot better than they anticipated when it first happened. Got underneath that pitch, lifting it towards right. Jamie McKay is there underneath it, and Ava Brown is retired. Cassidy McClellan up at the plate for the second time, and the last time we saw her, little RBI single action for her 28th RBI of the year.
And I think when I was looking at both pitchers that were starting in this game, you look at Keegan Rothrock, 100 prior to this game, 128 innings pitched with a 19-4 record, and then Jory Hurd at 96 innings pitched, but a 6-5 record. To me, the record doesn't reflect how good Jory Hurd has been. I think at times what stands out to me about her is that she's been that high leverage reliever. She's come into a lot of games and been able to just stay for the 4th, 5th through the 7th inning, and has been someone through the pressure that they've been able to rely on. I think at times the biggest, like I mentioned earlier, that struggle for South Carolina has been finding ways to manufacture runs, and they face tough pitching. But man, when your pitchers throw well, it's hard when you're not able to find a way to scrape something.
To McClellan.
That's such a good pitch.
Why?
That curve, I mean, that's 66 miles an hour. If she didn't swing, I think that ball was going to hit her, right? So it's like, yeah, not every hitter is going to pull the trigger on that, but like that understanding of owning the in now opens up the up. It opens the change away. It opens up something on the outside part of the plate. And it opens up that rise, and that's where you have to tip your cap as a pitcher and be like, that's a good hold.
This will be the 7th pitch coming to Cassidy McClellan. Full count here. And she will take her base. It's the 2nd walk issued tonight by Jory Hurd.
And a really good at bat by Cassidy McClellan to work that walk. Take some pitches, foul stuff off close.
I'm excited to see this battle again. Madison Walker at the dish against Hurd because she was hacking at it the first time, fouling off a number of pitches, but Hurd won the first battle, got her struck out looking. That was in the 2nd inning. Sends it hopping up the middle, right into Shea Anderson's glove, and that is out number 3. When we come back, we'll talk to South Carolina head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard. Her Gamecocks down by a run. Welcome back to SEC Softball, presented by Regions Bank. Florida up 1-0 on South Carolina, and we're joined now by South Carolina head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard. And Coach, what are some of the adjustments you want to see from your hitters against Keegan Rothrock?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's putting some fastballs in the zone. So I think, you know, they're whole balls in the zone. That they're coming back in the dugout saying that they're right there. So I feel like we need to attack the fastball. You know, it's firm. It's 70, 71, 72 miles an hour. But I think it's right there. So I think we need to be on time for that. There's a lot of other speed variability in there, but I think the fastball's the strike right now.
Coach, I have to ask about Hurd. I mean, I know she's kind of been that consistent rock, but, you know, every opportunity you get to play at home in front of this home crowd with that senior, just kind of what she's meant to your program as you've got to coach her over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, she's just a shining example of who we are and what we want to be about, and she's gotten better and better every year. She's stayed a Gamecock her entire career, and we're just so proud of her. And Jory's being Jory, you know. She's given us a chance. She looks great, and she's just rock solid. And I've been lately just talking about how she's just nails all the time. So I'm really proud of what she's doing. And, you know, we're playing pretty good defense behind her, too, which I think gives her a lot of confidence.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I know you start to get to this time, and it makes you think of those seniors, right? Like the home games are dwindling. I know at times for postseason there's chances of getting to be home, but, you know, someone that has been a Gamecock for 4 years, it just doesn't seem to happen nearly as much. You see some athletes that go in and spend 4 years at a university, but the game has changed a little bit with that. So when you see it, it's pretty special, and it stands out to me for sure.
Well, for Carly Shelton, I mean, this place means so much to her. She's at the plate right now facing Keegan Rothrock. She's from Lexington, South Carolina, so a local kid, and graduated high school a full year early to come be a Gamecock. She struck out the first time up against Keegan Rothrock, but this is a special game for Carly Shelton because her brother actually played baseball for the Florida Gators.
Yeah, they super athletic family. Mom and dad played baseball, softball at Charlotte. Also has a sister that plays softball at Colgate.
Yeah, such a competitive family that they give out a championship belt to the best athlete every year.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have fought hard for that.
You still would.
I still would fight hard
You'd
for that.
still win it,
I
just
still
for the
would.
record.
My
In
brother's
the-
not listening, but you're right.
In the Laurie household.
Yeah.
Right into the glove of Gabby Comia.
That's an example of just a solid pitch by Keegan Rothrock. I mean, 70 miles an hour in on the hands, solid corner, and it's going to be interesting here to see the adjustment. South Carolina, you know, was talking a big game, wanting to see the ball up in the zone. That was something that, you know, they were chomping at the bits to get the opportunity to be around. And I think at times it's being able to, obviously the change has been a little bit of a factor, but not allowing her to get ahead with pitches that are in and around the strike zone. And she's been able to find a way to get ahead of hitters and then toy with them a little bit. And sometimes that can be the hardest thing for a rise ball pitcher, right? Because you see that rise spin and you want to see it down. I want to see something down. I don't want to look silly and swing at something over my head, but just deciphering the difference between the spin.
Ariana Rohde's got a 3-0 count here against Rothrock, who has struck out 5 batters today, but working from behind here. Lifting it high into the sky towards left, and Thomas at the warning track makes the grab.
Here we go.
You know, it's interesting for Florida. They've made some shifting in the outfield. Townsend Thomas is in left. She's been playing mostly center field. Taylor Shoemaker's in right field, or excuse me, in center. She's been in right field. And Cassidy McClellan is in right field. She's been playing left. They kind of made that shift last weekend. This one will pop up into the infield and Rothrock underneath it. No problems on defense for the Florida team, who hasn't had an error in their last 10 games. Bats coming up for the Gators.
It's just been not only fantastic tonight, but all season long. She's been able to just continue to pepper that outside part of the plate. She climbed the ladder a little bit. And I think, to me, it's just that kind of leadership that she brings. And those strikeouts, those backward strikeouts, those are all going to show how good her stuff is, how much it's moving, how much it's wiggling. And at times it kind of feels like she's pitching too good for her team not able to get a run up on the board. And the one thing I can say is just to be able to stay level-headed and not be too up or too down depending on the score is what you will see across the board with these South Carolina pitchers.
She'll start with the bottom of the order with Gabby Comia, the second baseman. And, you know, Jory Hurd is somebody that's had to wait her turn at South Carolina. I mean, they had Elena Vaughter, Sam Gress last year was that main person, and now Jory Hurd is kind of the focus of this deep pitching staff for South Carolina. They've got 7 arms that have a win.
And she definitely had opportunities last year with Sam Gress for sure, but you're right. Like, she wasn't that, like, kind of solidified ace, and she is this year. Like, you have Friedel and Neely Lamb.
Comia towards right. Jamie McKay says hello.
And those two pitchers have pitched primarily more than a lot of others and kind of bridged that gap. I know as the beginning of the season when I was here against Texas, the mindset was like, at times she'll get an occasional start, Jory Hurd, but we want to bring her into situations. We want to bring her in the third or the fourth inning after someone like Emma Friedel or Neely Lamb have kind of set the tone for us. And I think she threw so good against Tennessee last weekend to get that 7-inning win against a tough offense. So had earned the right to be able to get a start here against number 7, Florida.
And she's facing their best hitter as far as average in Taylor Shoemaker, and she struck her out twice tonight.
And it just seems like Taylor Shoemaker has just been not being able to pull the trigger, right? She's kind of had these like half swings on the outside part of the plate. Listen, I mean, dude, the numbers don't lie. Like, she is one of the just most composed hitters, but she's seen some great pitches and oof.
I want a fast one over to Carly Shelton, and for the third time, Taylor Shoemaker is retired. And now Jocelyn Erickson up next.
This is a good adjustment, right? She was able to barrel something up. Hot shot. Would have loved to know the exit velo on that bad boy, but good adjustment. It was fast. I'd guess 74. I don't know, just throwing it out there.
Jocelyn Erickson now at the plate, and she received a pretty big honor recently. She was named to the national team player pool with a couple of former Florida Gators who are pretty good. I don't know, Skylar Wallace and Amanda Lorenz.
Yeah, both Amanda and Skylar, have loved following them, and obviously Jocelyn Erickson in the career that she's been able to have. A lot of Gators in the mix. I know there's a lot of hype. LA will be here before you know it, and Oklahoma City, and I'm not coming out of retirement, if you're wondering.
I don't know.
You were on the edge of your seat.
I saw that pitch you threw on Instagram. Pretty sure it was illegal. I'm pretty sure you're replanting. Jocelyn Erickson bounced it off the wall. Racing to second. And Jocelyn Erickson knocks her 10th double of the season.
Well, the only thing with this pitch, this is 0-2, right? Like, this is a pitch that needs to be a whole lot more out of the strike zone. She's able to get to that pitch. That's just kind of, I thought, no doubt it's going to be out of here, but just hits the top of the wall. But understanding hitters and quality counts, right? Those 0-2, 1-2 counts can be the toughest sometimes for a pitcher. So you don't want to throw a waste pitch, but you also want to throw something that they can't do a lot of damage with. Good job by Erickson.
They're going to call time here. Lexi Winters is going to go out to the circle to talk to Jory Hurd. Jocelyn Erickson, remember, almost half of her hits have been for extra bases, including that double.
Yeah, she's been doing a good job this year, especially. I also think, too, like, getting some innings off of catching and having to be that day-to-day catcher has really kind of probably improve the lower half and the fatigue of what it can take to take on that in a season. I mean, I didn't catch for a reason. It's really hard on your body. Like, and then to have to be that consistent hitter and supply the pop. So she's been pretty fantastic to watch. I mean,
look at her career.
Yeah.
A national champion. She's made a Women's College World Series appearance twice with Florida, and, you know, a couple of Gold Gloves. And she can swing it.
Yeah.
Just stacking that resume. And we're going to have a pitching change here for South Carolina. And it looks like it's Neely Lamb coming out. And this has been the norm. It has been an all-hands-on-deck approach all season for South Carolina.
Yeah, you've seen all these pitchers have each other's backs and support each other through all of this. And opportunity here for Neely Lamb to come in. Yeah, Erickson got on base, but 2 down. That's always the mindset, remembering. I've seen South Carolina pull at times a pitcher a couple different times throughout the year where there's been like an 0-1 count or a 2-0 count. So they've all been put into some situations as the season's gone on, and they all seem to be ready for it.
So Jory Hurd makes it through 4 2/3 innings, gives up 4 hits, couple of walks, 6 strikeouts.
When I think of Neely Lamb, I think of just that changeup. That's a huge pitch for her. She can climb the ladder and go upstairs with the rise ball, but the changeup tends to be something that she favors. And I don't know if, you know, at times this ever has something to do with bringing in a kind of a pitcher that tends to have an elite level pitch. But when I look at Kenleigh Cahalan, I mean, her biggest whiff, which means swing and miss pitch, is on that changeup at 20%. And her biggest whiff in zone, meaning pitches that still are in the zone for strikes, is that changeup at 23%. So.
Oh, well, we got this pitching change. Let's get you back to the studio with Alyssa Lang. Alyssa, thank you. Dang, what a first inning. Boom. Georgia. Well, we got a one-run ball game here, and Neely Lamb is just taking the circle for South Carolina in relief of Jory Hurd, and she's going to start with Kenleigh Cahalan. Jocelyn Erickson just had a double, bounced it off the wall, and she's in scoring position. Carly Shelton's got it. And Florida leaves a runner on second. Gators still have the lead as we go to the bottom of the inning.
She's been fantastic. She's just had such good wiggle on her up, but to me, it's been her commanding that changeup. We've seen her throw that quite a bit, and at times you can just see that these South Carolina hitters are unsettled. They just don't really know what to pull the trigger on, and that to me goes to show that you're having a good day when there's that just indecisiveness when you step into the batter's box. So bottom of the fifth inning here, a good opportunity for her to continue to keep rolling, and only 54 pitches thrown.
She's been efficient tonight. And, you know, looking back last week at that Mississippi State series for Keegan Rothrock, I mean, she gave up some solo home runs, but I felt like she still kept her composure.
Yep.
She didn't give away, you know, extra free passes, anything like that. And Tim Walton talked about how impressed and proud he was of her for staying just, you know, grinding in the circle.
And at times, I mean, you can say the same thing for that Arkansas series. She gave up some home runs. I want to say there was 3 she gave up in that series, and you're going to go through that. There's going to be some hitters that have your number, but to me, it's the response and the bounce back and the attention to detail on the next pitch and the next opportunity. At times, I'm okay with a solo shot. It's the 2-run, 3-run home runs and how those runners got on base that end up kind of putting you in a position where you feel like you won't last long.
At one point in this game, she struck out 4 in a row. Rothrock and her defense have retired the last 8 batters they've faced. Tori Inslee leading off here for the Gamecocks.
The one thing, too, I'll say with the home plate umpire guests behind the plate, like, I haven't really noticed them. And that, to me, means that they're doing a good job. I think at times we've had a smaller strike zone, it feels like, this year. He's done a good job of being consistent for both pitchers. A little bit down in the zone, but got to make sure I give credit where credit's due.
You know, it is interesting that Rothrock tonight, 3 times she's walked the leadoff in an inning.
I know. And then just like comes right back, but like 3 pitches in a row where it tends to not even be anywhere close, but has been cruising. And I think too, like what I want to see, Courtney, is like I want to see South Carolina get jacked up here. Like it, obviously that, you know, doesn't feel good, and that's a scary situation. But you got a runner on first with none out right now in a 1-run ball game. Like, get some energy, get some like mojo going here to try to understand the importance of this, because I do feel like the pitchers for South Carolina have been throwing so good for the hitters to not be able to get anything going. And you can say the same thing for Keegan Rothrock, right? Like, she's been doing a good job as well in the circle.
Well, South Carolina did have the tying run in scoring position, but that was back in the 2nd inning. Haven't had a runner since. Gamecocks 0 for 5 with runners on tonight. Oh, it just died in the dirt. Lexi Winters moving her teammate.
The ABCs of the game, baby. Here it is right here. Just laying the bunt down. The lefty behind the dish makes the play, but South Carolina, it's probably the most energy that I've heard from this team when she laid that bunt down. You could hear them in the dugout. Their hands were up. They were getting after it. And sometimes, you know, you got to steal the momentum a little bit. Get a little bit of that swagger, that confidence. Like, runner in scoring position, now's the time.
And just the 2nd time they've had a runner in scoring position. Tate Davis will step in.
And sometimes it's about smelling blood in the water, right? Like, dude, you walk the lead off. It's 4 balls, and then we find a way to get her over. And then that last pitch to Davis, not even close, right? Smell that out a little bit and try to get something going.
Tate Davis struck out on the changeup in the 2nd inning. Looking to get herself back going. She's had just 1 hit in her last 6 games.
And that's that changeup that is so good for Rothrock. Just taking a little something off it, but her last strikeout was on the change at 61 miles an hour, and she goes right back to it to get ahead in the count. 1-2. Be curious if she pulls the string again.
Into foul territory.
And that's a good difference in velo, right? Like that last pitch at 71 miles an hour, her change tends to be anywhere from 60 to 61, which is just enough to kind of make a hitter look silly.
I think Rothrock wants to swap out softballs here. Tori Inslee at 2nd. Walked and then was bunted over by Lexi Winters. She is the tying run. Davis underneath it into McClellan's glove, and Inslee will hold at 2nd. South Carolina's only gotten 2 balls to the outfield. The first was in the last inning. That was the 2nd. And Kai Byers is going to pinch hit here for South Carolina. True freshman will bat from the left side, looking for her first hit since March 8th, which was a home run against Texas. She takes the spot of Shea Anderson.
And I think, too, when you look at, Rothrock against lefties, righties, 241 average against those left-handed hitters and a 171. So tends to have a little more success against the righties. Shea Anderson was going to be a right-handed hitter. I like the thought process of making this change. Whether or not that's the case, it's just something that I pick up in an at-bat like this.
And so Kai Byers now just the third lefty that Rothrock has faced tonight. The top two in the order for South Carolina are left-handed, but that's it.
And at times you'll just see pitchers that some tend to favor one side more than the other. Or there's just this level of comfort with kind of those spin pitches. She doesn't tend to throw too many curveballs to the outside part of the plate, but
it's high in the air for Shea Anderson. And in comes Townsend Thomas to call it. And South Carolina leaves the tying run aboard for the second time tonight. Lang, thank you. Oklahoma just doing Oklahoma things. And I heard Alyssa practicing Red River rivalry in the break. I think she did a nice job.
She did.
Top of the six. Townsend Thomas beats it out.
Must be nice when your four-hole hitter can just drop down a bunt and just leg it out down the line. Ran track back in the day. Love to see it. Multi-sport athlete. Yeah. Fire me up.
Actually, in high school, she did the hurdles and had a pretty significant leg injury doing the hurdles, and it knocked her out of training anything for about 2 years. Redshirted last year at Florida, but came in as the #1 outfielder in her recruiting class.
Now has been a staple, too, when you think about it, has played from the jump. I mean, the numbers don't lie. Offensively, so good for them. But I think the triple threat, right? Like, she has that power piece, but also can drop down that bunt if she needs to as well.
Kendall Grover's at the plate. She's got a single and a stolen base tonight. Struck out the last time up, but this is her first time facing Neely Lamb. Thought that one might be going over the net into the stands.
What a nice night for some softball. I mean, it was, what, 75 degrees.
Perfect.
This Seattle gal will...
The sun was out.
I just stood in the sun for like, I think 60 seconds and just put my head up and just wore the warmth. It was wonderful. Tomorrow at game time, 85. Might feel a little different up here in the booth,
It's gonna feel great. Grover foul towards left, but over the fence. And Kendall Grover, 3 seasons at Eastern Illinois, and they just saw tremendous growth when she got to Gainesville from fall to Christmas break. She had the biggest growth. Tim Walton has said, as a person, A+. Great human to add to their culture, to their program.
And something that's always stood out to me about Tim Walton, he said the athletes that he recruits and the ones that end up coming through the program, like they really have to want to love being Florida Gators. Like that is something, I had heard that on the Softball America podcast when Tara Henry asked like what he really looks for. And obviously the athlete piece is huge, but like really wearing that orange and blue deep and wanting to rock hard for your school, your community. I don't know if you know this, but I played for Tim Walton for a season in 2010. It was the summer of 2010. It was pretty awesome. I didn't like him until I did.
What do you mean?
Well, in the 2009 National Championship, I didn't really like him. But
well, I think you came out on top.
I know, but I still didn't like him.
Sure.
But I learned to I loved playing for him, and I understood why when you play against him, you don't like him.
Yeah.
And then when you play for him, you're like, all right, let's go. Big fan. I think he knows that.
He reminded us on our call this week about, he's like, I remember playing you, Danielle.
Yeah.
Wasn't really excited to see you.
Oh, he'll be excited.
And so a bunt and a walk are going to put 2 on for the Florida Gators against Neely Lamb. She entered in the last inning in relief of Jory Hurd, who got the start tonight. Ava Brown, her 5th game back from injury. She's had a hit in 2 of her last 3 games. And Zach Parsons going out to the circle for South Carolina.
Well, and Kelsey Bruder, with all her little clan and her family, I remember playing her back in 2009 a couple times with the Gators. I mean, her husband's here. This is cool to see that she's out here supporting the Gators. True Gator fans know Kelsey Bruder. She was one of the toughest outs for sure that I faced. Oh, she got a boob at her daughter. Looks like she fell. But a good opportunity for, you know, pitching coach Parsons to be able to come out. Obviously, you want to keep this game where it's at and try to give your offense an opportunity. So being able to go out and kind of just calm Neely Lamb a little bit and understand you got to just go and attack hitters, right? Trust your defense here.
When she's at her best, what does that look like?
Well, she's able to, I think, really locate the changeup, right? You saw that walk to Grover was on the 3-2 changeup. Most of the pitchers on staff here for South Carolina, that's really the difference maker for them, is the command of that pitch. But I can say for any pitcher across the board, it's falling behind gets you in trouble, because then you have to bring something a little bit more over the plate to hitters that are ready for it. So
and she's now behind Ava Brown, 2-0. Townsend Thomas started this inning off by laying down a bunt on the first pitch she saw. And Kendall Grover walked. Gets us to Ava Brown.
there it is. There's that changeup rolling in at 50 miles an hour, 2-0. Obviously unpredictable count. Probably not thinking she's throwing the change there. And I will say this about Lexi Winters behind the plate. I know Coach Chastain Woodard talks a lot about her, but just the fight she has for pitchers. You saw her instinct go to the umpire. Like, did she swing? She fully has their back, not only there, but once she's in the dugout, she's constantly talking to them. And I just think that battery piece, you could say the same thing for Florida with Jocelyn Erickson, how important it is to feel that 2-against-1 mentality. And as a pitcher, when it can feel lonely and you can feel that pressure, you want to be in sync with who's behind the plate.
So it'll be back-to-back walks issued by Neely Lamb to load them up for Cassidy McClellan, who has the only RBI in this game. It was back in the second inning.
Yeah, she was ready for a pitch that was left a little up. You had obviously infield pulled in knowing the situation. Definitely a situation here for Florida to try to get something going.
Florida's going to use a pinch runner, Kaylee Matsuno at first. And Jory Hurd back in the circle for South Carolina. She got the start in this game. Neely Lamb came in last inning, and now Jory Hurd gets the ball back.
Well, and that's how it works when you start a game. You're able to re-enter, and no pressure here, right? Just kidding. Bases loaded. I mean, that's a situation coming back in, just being able to take a big, deep breath, right? And understanding I can only control what I can control, and that is one pitch at a time. Can't be any bigger because the moment feels like it's a lot, because it is. And at times that can be the hardest piece coming in. But someone that knows the feeling of the high leverage role. We've seen her come in plenty of times into ball games and be that like reliever in some big time situations.
What's the mentality like to re-enter when you've been in the dugout or you've been back in the bullpen working, and then just to stay ready?
I think if you can use more of the selfless mentality of like, all right, what can I do here to help my team, right? Instead of making it feel super big of like, oh man, bases loaded, like, okay, taking a breath, like what can I do? How can I roll a ground ball to the right side and get it to Carly Shelton? Like, how can I come in and help? Instead of trying to come in and feel like you need to play damage control and, you know, change or try to get out of it in one pitch, because it's just not going to work that way. It's going to take a little bit of some grit in a situation like this.
Oh, no outs, bases loaded thanks to a bunt and 2 walks for Cassidy McClellan.
And that's a good start, shooting strikes.
The first pitch strike fired in from Jory Hurd. Florida tonight 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position. McClellan got that RBI single in the second inning off of Jory Hurd. That's the difference in this ball game right now. Gators looking to bust it open.
I don't know. I feel like that pitch was called earlier on in the beginning of the game. It was something we saw both pitchers be able to get.
Well, right now, 3 balls and a strike. And McClellan swings at it.
Looked similar.
And ball 4 walks in a run to give Florida a 2-0 lead.
Oh, Lexi Winters, I mean, do I want it for the pitcher? Yes. Do I think that pitchers will get that? No. But I like the work by Winters behind the plate, really trying to work that to get that. Like I said, I want it for the pitchers. I just feel like umpires these days aren't giving that call.
Still no outs with the bases juiced for Madison Walker. Oh, excuse me. Ella Wesolowski is pinch hitting. A transfer from Mississippi State, who wanted the chance to come in and compete, not afraid of competition.
And someone coming in, too, that very much could have been like, I don't really want to, because Jocelyn Erickson is in the same position that I'm in. But I almost think that those two against each other have been able to make each other that much better. Had some opportunities to give Jocelyn Erickson a little bit of a break behind the dish. But everyone loves a little competition. It makes you better.
Ball and 2 strikes. Inslee sliding over. Everybody tags up and a runner comes home. Grover scores to make it 3-0 Gators. Florida's brought home 2 in this inning. A walk with the bases loaded, and then that sac fly. Gabby Comia at the bottom of the order for the Gators, just 1 away. Goes bunt. Aria Rodi crashing in, throws it to the plate, and Winters making the tag.
I cannot explain how incredible this play is. From obviously it being the squeeze to the glove flip by Rodi to the tag. Lexi Winters directly in front of home plate with the tag, knowing that's where she's going to slide. Doesn't even give her a chance. That's so money, especially with the pressure.
The play at the plate for possible obstruction. The play's on the further review.
I mean, I know it makes sense. We're late in a ball game to challenge this type of a play. I don't feel like it's going to be overturned. But I have said that before. The whole point is you don't necessarily, I mean, she's got the ball. She's had the ball for a long time.
Also, she's not blocking the leading edge of the plate.
She's not. I think the call's going to stand. But look at the tag. I mean, we can just, instead of looking at it as a video review, look at it as
a photo finish.
A photo finish of just a perfect tag, and that's what I would teach.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. We got an out. That is Florida's first challenge.
And it does. It makes sense to challenge late in a ball game. I mean, we're in the top of the 6th inning. Florida has not used the challenge yet. I know that that's changed where if you get it correct, you get to keep it. But Florida still has another challenge. But that was really great defense.
And that is out number 3, but not before Florida brings home 2 more runs. Can South Carolina get the bats going? Lang, thank you. We got a bit of a situation going on here. Just going to let you know. Boom. Just a little alert for the people at home.
That's all she wrote.
Keegan Rothrock been pretty solid tonight, and South Carolina's bats haven't figured her out yet. Do you want to speak, Danielle?
I didn't know if I wanted to let people know I was not the one that circled anything. I mean, Rothrock she has been throwing really well. I think that changeup has been such a huge pitch for her.
She starts with the bottom of the order being 9, 1, and 2 up for South Carolina. Alyssa Hovermail struck out last time up against Rothrock. She has struck out 5 tonight.
If I were to say any blemish, has only been the leadoff walks.
Yeah,
the
3
innings.
times.
Yeah, which is just uncharacteristic for her, but
it was a South Carolina team who they told us earlier in the week they were really excited to see and face Keegan Rothrock, a different look than they've been getting, more up in the zone. But haven't come up with anything just yet.
she's definitely gone a lot more up in the zone than we've seen her. I mean, 35% she threw that rise ball last year, and she's at 75% of the time in this season climbing the ladder.
Yeah, I feel like we had a lot of screams right there.
That was a lot, and no one
Everybody
called
was
it.
good.
No one called it.
Also, get your glove out. Let's go. Communication is key.
Yeah.
Make it 6 strikeouts for Keegan Rothrock.
And just spot and curveball outside part of the plate, or that could potentially be a little bit of a low rise outside. And so good. Wesolowski behind the dish just does a great job of setting up, doesn't even have to move.
Quincy Lelio lifting the first pitch to right, and McClellan grabs it 2 down. Carly Shelton's turn. I say she did not swing. Struck out in the first inning. Hit one to Comia at second in the 4th inning.
I want to make it my mission tomorrow before the game. Talk to Rothrock. I want to talk about her change.
Okay.
Just speaking that into existence.
Sure. But we can make that happen.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Well, I just kind of want to know, like, kind of the off-season work in that pitch and what she really has done to add a little bit of velo to it, right? She's throwing it a little bit harder. Like, what's the focus with that and how that's worked? Because I do feel like it's made everything else that much better. I do know, you know, a lot comes down to pitch calling, and we've seen that with Coach Prothro as well as Coach Anea are calling pitches together, and I think that has, you know, there's that feel of both of them getting to communicate.
Thomas got it in left. It's 3 up, 3 down, and Keegan Rothrock still feeling pretty solid in the circle.
SEC Softball is presented by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC.
Well, Keegan Rothrock is dealing in the circle for Florida. These South Carolina bats just have not been able to get going, and so now we're going to have a different pitcher in the circle for South Carolina. They've used 2 already tonight. We'll see a third in Emma Friedel, who will come in.
Yeah, Emma Friedel is someone that we've seen a lot as SEC has gone on. She definitely brings this type of energy, has that unicorn up spin, and I think to be able to come in and try to shut the door here in the top of the 7th inning.
Tough task to start, though. She's got Jocelyn Erickson, who last time up at the plate, I mean, she launched one. It bounced off the wall for a double. Friedel was the main arm at Kennesaw State last season. Now a junior year, and just a player that they want to develop. They want to work long-term with her.
And there really is, I mean, this attention to detail you're seeing a lot more in the game with working staffs together. Like, how can one work with another and come in and complement what they throw to then someone else? And I've seen Friedel have moments where she's been able to really set the tone. I remember that Mississippi State series. I had that mic'd up Monday. Like, she really just had this different type of energy about herself and was able to do such a good job through the first 3 innings to then be able to bring in Jory Hurd. And at times, that's sometimes what staffs need to do. They have to know their role.
And this is your 85th South Carolina game this year, so you know them well.
I am. I don't mind it. I hope everyone else is okay with it.
Erickson with a hard hit ball, but not deep enough. Lelio underneath.
I will say, I am using this ginormous pencil, and the ability to have the barrel control to write the outs is like nothing that I have ever seen. So I just want to make that known. It's not easy. I'm practicing like the hitters.
Kinley Cahalan takes a chop at it.
Also, where do you get these? Is it a special order? Is it the pencil? I haven't seen these at Dollar General. Good job by Friedel. Back-to-back pitches, being able to get ahead, down in the zone, understanding that umpire guest has been a little bit more down.
Just dropped it in front of Lelio. And Kinley Cahalan is on. Cahalan's been really good in their last 2 SEC series. .318 average, that leads all hitters for Florida, and 7 RBI. Now Townsend Thomas. Remember last time we saw her at the plate, she dropped a bunt on the first pitch she saw. Eventually would come around to scores. Florida loaded up the bases in the last inning.
Well, and that's too what like kind of makes her a little bit dangerous is she keeps the defense honest, right? Like she has that good pop. There's no doubt about that, but has a lot of speed where you need to be mindful that you don't get played, and you have to be aware of that. But I mean, 351 average on the year, has a couple home runs, 9 doubles, but can also drop the bunt and get up the line like crazy.
Kendall Grover in the on-deck circle better be careful. She almost took the brunt of that. That was a little higher.
It was, yeah, she was okay over there.
I've heard that Townsend Thomas is ultra competitive. That kind of fuels her and gives her that little spark. Two-two to Thomas with Cahalan at first. Thomas sounded good. How about over the fence? Just the third home run of the season for Townsend Thomas.
Well, in her prior at-bat, she drops the bunt and then steps up here. She's in the 4-hole for a reason. Look at her go up and get it. I mean, you have to kind of tip your cap if you're Friedel. This is not a horrible miss. She's just so good at being able to get her hands up and barrel this thing out of here in a heartbeat. You see the excitement as she's rounding the bases. That is to feel good. That is a solid piece of hitting.
Her last home run before that one was March 7th, so it's been almost a month. It's the 9th home run that Emma Friedel has given up this season. And now on to attack Kendall Grover, but Friedel behind 2-0. Gators, by the way, 6th in the nation in home runs, that being their 80th on the season.
Yeah, and I like this by Winners. 3-0, especially after you give up a 2-run home run. Just when you fall behind, I just think it's so important, that vet behind the plate, to be able to go out and just have that conversation, get her back in it, whatever that looks like.
It's a 3-0 count to Grover. And Townsend Thomas just hit the 2-run home run and brought home Kinley Cahalan, who had a single in the at-bat before Thomas. And now this Florida team tied for 8th in single-season home runs in the Florida record book with the 2015 team. Grover will take her base.
Just making sure they re-entered Ava Brown because she had a pinch runner.
Walked last time up to load the bases in the 6th. And it's a small roster for this Florida Gator team, just 18 players, the smallest in the SEC, the smallest in Power 4. And I mean, it sounds like a pretty close-knit group.
And I think, too, when you do have a small roster, it allows for you to be efficient, right? Like, you know, for the most part, who's in the lineup the day-to-day, with the occasional athlete who's getting the opportunity to get some pinch hits. But the more at-bats you get athletes, the better they get. And it's one thing I definitely noticed when I was doing my homework on them, was they tend to keep it pretty routine and the same people going.
Well, they won the 2014 National Championship, which was 16 players on the roster.
Yeah.
So who you cutting? I'm just kidding.
No. But, like, you tend to see such big lineups. You know, I feel like sometimes I'm prepping for football with some of these lineups. You know, 24, 25, 26 athletes, like, it's a lot.
Yes, it is.
And to just try to get the vibe right and the chemistry and get everyone kind of on the same page. I know it's possible, but
Ava Brown will roll it to Shea Anderson. South Carolina looking for 2, and they get it. South Carolina, last chance on the way. Can they get a hit? Bottom of the 7th inning we go, and they've got Sandstorm playing here at Carolina Softball Stadium because right now Keegan Rothrock of Florida is throwing a no-hitter. She has 2 in her career. The last came in February of 2024. How has she been so effective today, Danielle?
Oh, man. She's done a good job of forcing what seems like South Carolina to swing at pitches like not in their wheelhouse. They haven't really looked comfortable, but I think the difference maker has been her off-speed pitch. Like, to see it in person has been really cool to see, and that it's continued to evolve, and she's continued to evolve as she has gone on throughout her career. And
Ariana Rhodey will lead off for South Carolina. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters due up. Rothrock, 6 Ks on the evening. Well, coming up next, we'll have some SEC baseball for you. Texas and Texas A&M. That's going to start on SEC Plus. You can find it on the ESPN app. We'll get you there when we're done here in Columbia. And ball 3 coming into Ariana Rhodey. Now, Rothrock hasn't given up any hits tonight, but she has walked the leadoff 3 times.
well, and the last time that Rhodey was up, she swung at a 3-0 pitch and lined it to left.
South Carolina is going to try to start their rally with a walk, a leadoff walk for the 4th time. The pinch runner for South Carolina, Alexi Shaver, the Kennesaw State transfer, will take over at first base for Rhodey. And it'll be Jamie McKay at the plate, who's walked once tonight. She was the leadoff walk in the 2nd inning. This is somebody who was really challenged by South Carolina's staff to get in and put the work in, and she did.
Yeah. Someone that was told we're only going to really be putting you in to help with taking a little bit of time off. Alexi Winters, and man, she went to work. The cage became her best friend, and you love to see the improvements. I think it probably hits home a little different when your coach says, like, when your career is done, you don't want to look back and regret that you haven't put in enough of that work. So she's been a fun story to watch as this season's gone on. That's a good job. 2-1 changeup. Like her bringing that pitch, especially, you know those hitters' counts. At times, hitters are not stepping in the box expecting you to throw that pitch. Gets her back in the count.
And now she's got a full count here. Runner on first thanks to a leadoff walk by Ariana Rode. Jamie McKay to the warning track, and Townsend Thomas is there to scoop it. I think Keegan Rothrock owes her dinner. Well, Jamie McKay is standing at first base. No, that was an out.
Yeah,
now she's going back. Yeah,
that was a good play by Townsend Thomas, and the tag up, because you saw Thomas who went and got the ball, and she kind of fell after she got up, which allowed for the tag up by Shaver at first base to make her way over to second.
Now Tori Inslee. With a runner at second. Now, Tori Inslee, she has reached in both of her plate appearances, once on a fielder's choice and then once via the walk. Smoked that one.
That high up and in with that rise ball, to me, kind of opens up to be able to throw that changeup again. Something maybe down, doesn't have to necessarily bounce, but something down in the dirt. You see she's off the dish a little bit, could be down and in.
Tori Inslee had 3 hits in the Tennessee series last weekend.
Dirty.
Make it 7 strikeouts for Keegan.
Well, and the hard sets up this changeup, right? And you just see the indecisiveness of just trying to play protect, because you don't want her to go 71 up like she did. And really impressive job by Keegan Rothrock to work back and get that strikeout.
And now South Carolina's game comes down to Lexi Winters, their leader behind the dish, now at the plate.
Good take.
3 balls and a strike to Lexi Winters. And the second walk in this inning keeps the drama going. Tim Walton's going to go out to the circle and huddle everybody up here. As Tate Davis will be the batter up for South Carolina. Still looking for its first hit in this game. 105 pitches tonight for Keegan Rothrock. And we got a pinch runner for South Carolina over at first base. Ansley Bennett will come in to run. What's it feel like as a pitcher in this moment? 2 outs, I mean, 1 out away from a no-hitter.
You just put me on the spot, Court.
I mean,
no, you feel it a little. The heart rate's a little bit, you feel it a little bit more just because you know the importance of the moment. But I think when you're able to just kind of reset and say, hey, I got 2 out, like, have to go and just attack, and not let kind of your mindset move anywhere else.
And then she comes with the first pitch strike to Tate Davis.
And it's an off speed. And that's something that I've seen against Tate Davis, that she's had some success. Her strikeout in her first at bat. She threw some really big changeups in her second at bat of the day. And these are all things that like register in your mind as the game has gone on. I know pitchers are being called from the dugout, but as a pitcher, it's like being self-aware in moments of like what pitch has a hitter struggled with off you, from her first to her second at bat to now you've set her up. We're 0-2, so it's like, do I climb the ladder and try to get her swinging out of her shoes, or do I go back with that changeup and just take it off the plate a little bit, like the strikeout you saw to Ensley? I think she's got a good change here. And she did, and that's a good take by Tate Davis. 1-2 count. I go back to back. And she does.
A third career no-hitter for Keegan Rothrock. And she does it on the road in SEC play.
And I don't even think she knew, Court. Her teammates came out and told her, and she goes, I did it? Ugh. That's incredible. It is. To be able to witness that with how tough the game is nowadays, like that really, that's impressive.
I mean, she carries such a big load for Florida, and wow, they take game 1 of this series from South Carolina 5-0 behind a no-hitter by Keegan Rothrock.